previously we've been telling the computer to always print out something. We just command the computer to do whatsoever we want the computer to do. So in this lecture, I'm going to be teaching you how we can get an input from a user. So without wasting much of your time, let's go straight to the point. So before we can get an input from a user, we need to declare the type of input we want. Is it a string input, which is for text? Is it an integer input or whatsoever? So right now we'll be talking about string input, which is a text. So I'll say string. Then we need to add a question mark. So this question mark is checking if it's nullable or not, because we are just trying to collect an input from a user. You need to check if it's nullable or not, because the user might decide to enter something or decide to leave it empty. So once we enter the question mark, we give space. Then we need to declare the variable, the name we want to give whatsoever the user wants to type, the name we want to store the user input with. So I will say name. Then the value of this name, so I'll just say equal to, the value should be what the user enters. So there's something we call standard input, which is stdin. But before that, we need to come over here and import what we called .io. The .io stands for input and output. So I'll start by typing import. Then I'll say .io. Then I'll enter my semicolon here. So when I come down here, we have declared that is a string data type we use, and the variable is what we call name. So we want to use this name here to store whatsoever the user enters. So we'll say stdin, which stands for standard input. We'll say dot readline sync. So this is readline sync. Then we open and close parentheses. Then here we can add our semicolon. But before that, we need to try to let the user know what we want the user to enter. We can come here, hit enter. Then we can print a text telling the user to enter a name. Then at the end, we enter our semicolon. So when we run this code, we are going to see that this is enter a name. Then inside this place, we can see that now we can be able to type here. We can be able to type whatsoever we want to type. So I'll just enter my name. I'll say Frank. So when I hit enter, the code stops executing. Why? Because that's the end of the program. After entering the name, there is no other thing it's going to do. We did not ask the computer to do any other thing. So in a case whereby we want the computer to do something after entering this name, we can as well print the name the user have entered. So we can come here and say print, open and close parentheses. We can say something like this. We can say your name is, then here we enter a $sign, we open a curly bracket, then we call in these variables we registered here. So the variable we registered here is name, so we'll just say name. Then we close our curly bracket. Then at the end, we add our semicolon. Or before we say, we can just say welcome. Welcome. So when I run this code again, it will ask me to enter my name. So I'll say Frank. So when I So when I hit enter, it says welcome Frank. So we declared a data type of string given the variable which we called name. So in this variable, we use the variable to store whatsoever the user will put here. So whatsoever the user put here is going to be stored in this variable which we called name. Then after this, we now print a message that says welcome. Then we'll now call in this variable using this $, curly bracket, then typing what we have here. In the next video, I'm going to be showing you how we can be able to collect an integer data type from a user. It's not going to be the same, it's just a different thing. So in the next video, I'm going to be showing you how we can collect an integer input or data from a user. Thank you.